Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm Ali Fathi. I'm inventor and founder of Trimph. As much as I love talking about science, I don't want to talk about science too much. Just a very brief descriptions of what I'm doing and what the company is about. Is this injectable scaffold, is this liquid that wherever you inject it to, it uses the heat from the body to form this elastic gel. It provides a scaffold for the ingrowth of the cells. Cells get into the structure, start regenerating the tissue that you injected to, and after 3 months, the scaffold resorbs to the body, and you end up with the healthy tissue. We showed that we can make bone, cartilage, skin, muscle with this technology. We are looking very simple to start the business. We are looking at regenerate soft and hard tissue. Regenerating soft and hard tissue after tooth extractions to just get the wound closed faster, don't lose bone, and so on and so forth. Very, very simple stuff. What have I done in the past 18 months from the time that I incorporated Trimph? After I finished my PhD, the whole technology was my PhD project. I finished my PhD back in 2014. I struggled to raise capital for around a year. I raised capital. I raised $3.2 million through 2 angel investors. I know Michelle said around a couple of $100,000. I was the lucky one. I raised $3.2 million through 2 angel investors, and also I raised another $1 million through New South Wales Health, also through Commonwealth Government Accelerating Commercialisation Grant. So I established the company. It seems very good at the moment, but it didn't happen overnight. One of the things that I'm really, really proud of, and I always want to talk about, is our own production facility. This is something that you most of the time see in Silicon Valley, and I know one of the speakers will talk about that. But we transfer empty warehouse into a state-of-the-art clean room production facility. And it's been a very, very important asset for the company to run the clinical trials and so on and so forth. And by means of this, we've been able to test the products on humans at the moment. But again, it didn't happen overnight. And if I want to start the story goes back to 2014. Towards the end of my PhD, I get to the incubate program. First day was induction. Second day, they start talking business. And oh my God, I couldn't understand even a word that they were using. I was the dumb kid. But at the same time, I loved it. Why I liked it? Because I saw that there's so much room for improvement. And it was good to be a dumb kid in the room. Back in those days, definitely I had more hair. And the passion to make it work. And because I was a researcher, I knew that I can learn new skills. So I started reading about business to see how people are making business. And I found it something very, very organic with business, based on my background as a researcher. What I found that when we're doing research, there are 5 major steps. We're doing a literature review. Then through the literature, we just find a problem. Once we find a problem, we want to go and find who is out there doing the same work so we can make those collaborations. Once we have the collaborations, we want to get the money to be able to do the experiment, either through a supervisor or through grants and so on and so forth. And then we're doing the experiment. It's exactly the same model that everyone's saying that you need to do a business. And so that's why it was very organic to me as a researcher. So in the literature review counterpart in business, you need to interview with your customers. And that was exactly what Michelle was saying. So people in business, they go out there and review and interview with the customers. They identify the problem. The problem is always a problem. Then they will build up a team around themselves. Then they try to raise money, as most of the finalists, as all the finalists are doing at this stage. And then they will do the business. So 5 elements organically in me as a researcher, and exactly very similar 5 skills that I needed to make the business. It seems very simple. But why I was so bad at it? Because based on my research background, there's 5 personal characteristics associated with most of the researchers, associated with each and every of these 5 main elements that makes us so bad at it. I talk personally. First one, review of literature. As a researcher, what's the main sources of the information to get? I open my laptop, get into the literature, and get all the informations out. Just as an example, just this morning among the finalists, there was just two teams that essentially used the real-world data from the hospitals. All the others were just the information that was extracted from a literature. And that's the bad thing. I know. I feel comfortable sitting in front of my computer and finding this and that articles and just reference that. But most of the times, that's not a real information that you need to. I needed to get out there and talk with the people that really needed to, are really my customers. The second thing is the problem. As a researcher, I always wanted to find that most complex problem with the most sophisticated hypothesis, so I can seem very smart. I wanted to throw out all these complex words out there and like everyone say, wow, this guy's smart. But that's not the way the business works. You need to find a problem that matters to everyone, and you need the simplest answer to that problem. So the second reason that I was bad in doing business. The third is the collaboration. Most of the times, as a researchers, when we want to find the collaborators, we go to our peers. We go to another professor, to another professor, to another professor. Although there are different professors in the different fields, but the chain of thoughts, the algorithm, the way that we researchers think, it's 90% of the time similar. And when you want to do business, you need to find someone that you can work with at the same time, but with a different mindsets. With all due respect, if you want to make a business, if you want to make the company with your research colleague, you need another person in that team. You need someone that can challenge you in a different way, that can stop you when you're thinking so crazy in terms of like a research. So be mindful about your team. You need someone different, someone that you can work with, but at the same time different. For example, my co-founder, we are spending 11 hours a day, 7 days a week together. I'm not spending that much time with my girlfriend. I can still, we fight a lot, but we can cope. And we are totally different, 2 different people, absolutely different. You need that in your team. The second thing, it goes back to the grants. Again, it's the same problem with the customers. Me as a researcher, I was getting grants, how? Writing the grants, submitting it online. 6 months later, getting the results back, again online. Responding to the questions, again online, and send it out and hope for the best. No personal interaction again. But as a business, if you want to raise, you need to get out there. You need to talk with people. I talked with more than 70 people to be able to find my 2 angel investors. I know it feels like begging for money. Okay, call it whatever, but it was a step towards a goal. So get out there, feel comfortable, get out of your comfort zone, and talk with people. And the last one, the 5th one, is the experiment and the operation. So as a researcher, we are all interested in doing things. We get into a lab, we want to mix A and B, and we found C, and we say, oh, that's interesting. Let's add C to it and see what's happening. But in the business world, that's not the case. We need to be focused. So based on these 5, as a researcher, I have the fundamentals, but exactly the same, my research background was not helping me to make the business work. To be able to start a business, you need to risk. I gave up my full-time job at university, which was very stable, to make the business work. So if you want to risk, risk it. And I'm not regretting it, even a single second in my life. There are occasions that I feel very worried, like the first time that we wanted to test the material on humans. I still can feel my heartbeat. I swear I still can feel my heartbeat. There are days that I enjoy talking with people. I enjoy pitching my business, like this time. I really wanted to Photoshop these two not to have the same outfit, but yeah, it happened. But there are also days and mornings that I wake up with this. So this is a camera in my lab, and I saw that there is a mess and there's a technical problem. At 5:30 in the morning, I need to get there and solve it. So to solving that, sometimes I need to be that cockroach in the top of the lab to be able to fix it. Just the message that I want you to pass on. If you really want to risk, and if you want to get there, get out of your comfort zones and do things that matters and learn and keep learning, do it. If not, don't do it. In the past 4 years, I've been so fortunate. So many people in Cicada, in Incubate that helped me. And I feel the same. I really want to do the same things to you guys. If you have any questions, if you think that I can be helpful in any sort of form, please feel free to drop me an email. I know it's not actually too hard to find my phone number. I don't mind as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. Thank you.